Hi, today we have kind of a fun, I don't know if it's gonna be fun. I'm hoping it's gonna be a fun night in my life. I'm gonna try not to work tonight for once because I have just been a workaholic and actually I've been really putting the work in and I feel like I've been doing well at my job recently. Like I've been getting good feedback and stuff and I'm really ahead of my project. I was like, I need to try to teach myself to not feel guilty when I'm not working. So I have like some kind of fun stuff I want to do tonight. I just want to have like a chill night. So yeah, we're gonna start with a haul. I actually went to some Latin American like grocery store kind of places today. I first stopped at a place that was like a Brazilian grocery store, and then I found another one, and it was like more of like a general Latin American market. I actually really, my big thing is that I really want to make tamales. I've never made them before, but you need like a lot of specialty ingredients, so I don't quite know where to get that. Anyways, but I got other stuff, so I wanted to show you guys like what I got. I stopped at a Brazilian market before this, but I'm gonna show you guys what I got at just like the general market. This is the first thing I got. This is what we're making tonight. I got the stuff to make arepas. I've actually been nannying for a girl who's half Venezuelan, and her mom is Venezuelan, and I've eaten arepas at their house like quite a few times, and they're so good. I was like, I want to learn to make them because they're gluten free. So I think I have everything that I need, but yeah. So we're gonna try to make arepas tonight. Sorry to spoil. But I got this like Brazilian like seasoning. There's another version of this that is like even better. I think it's a different one that I would usually have at home. Like it's like you can just put it on everything. So I did get that. I've never tried this before. I got this like Peruvian tea. I actually used to live in Peru when I was really, really little. I lived there. So my dad used to teach at international schools. We lived in Brazil. Like this was when I was really little, like 1 years old to like, I don't know. We moved when I was like 4. We moved to Peru because he got a different job there. So we lived in Peru from the time I was 4 to like 6. So like my first memories actually are in Peru. But anyways, so I got this little Peruvian tea. I just wanted to try it because I'm a big tea drinker. Now we're going into the Brazilian food. I want to say before I get into it that I am so self-conscious of my Portuguese. Actually, so I worked at a job where I interacted with Brazilians a lot. And my Portuguese got really good. Like, people actually used to be like, they just spoke to me like I was Brazilian. Like, they weren't, like, expecting me, I guess, to be not Brazilian. I probably still sounded a bit different, but I don't know. I guess they just didn't notice. Like, I think my accent was fine and I spoke fine. But I feel like I get camera shy when I actually have to speak Portuguese. And so I feel like if I say something that sounds stupid and like that, like I don't know. I feel the most self-conscious of my Portuguese because it's like I should know it perfectly, but I had to relearn when I got older, which kind of sucks. But yes, I've also been nannying, or I was nannying for a Portuguese family, and my Portuguese has gotten so messed up because in the beginning, I was speaking like Brazilian Portuguese mostly at my job, and then I was speaking I kind of shifted my Portuguese to speak like Portuguese from Portugal here because the kid that I was nannying was really young, and I feel like I just wanted him to understand me well and like communicate to him the way that he needed. But now I feel colonized, okay? I feel like sometimes I'll be saying stuff that's like I'm like this is not the Portuguese of my people. Like I'm just like now it's like my mind got used to speaking Portuguese from Portugal and I'm like I need to re-Brazilianize myself again, which is so random, but yeah, anyways, that's not even relevant, but I feel like my Portuguese is like sorry if I say something that sounds like not very well accented. Actually, of everyone, I think Brazilians are the ones to care the least. I could be speaking like, I could be like saying stuff crazy. I feel like Brazilians are just going to be excited that you are speaking Portuguese at all. Because Brazilians are just chill like that, they're not going to care. There's some countries where I think they kind of do care. Like, for example, I don't speak French, but I am too nervous to ever like, you know what I mean? I think French people like they care. Like if you're saying it wrong, like they're gonna side eye you a little bit. Brazilians, oh, you can just say like I don't know, boy or something. They're gonna be like, you're speaking Portuguese. Like I feel like sometimes Brazilians get like kind of hyped just because someone's speaking Portuguese. Like they're not, like they're just happy to talk to you. But anyways, so I don't think anyone even cares. But Okay, first of all, not exciting. I just got like black beans. I got farofa. I'm not gonna lie, this type right here, I got the same brand in like another, it was like this orangey one, and I hated it. It was so gross. I think I didn't even finish it, or if I did, like I had to force my way through it. But this was the only brand they had at the store, and I did get a different one though. This one is like, this one is not orange. I've never seen orange farofa in Brazil or at my own home. Like it was always like this color, you see, like yellowy. This one is really random. I've never eaten this before, but I just thought, I had a little bit of tapioca left, like to make it. You see, I'm sorry. I already said that wrong. It's really hard for me to switch between English and Portuguese. Like I gotta be only speaking Portuguese or only speaking English. Like I can't flip flop. But anyways, so I just got this little jam. It's like a pumpkin jam. Yeah. We got my favorite, ℍ𝕖𝕣𝕤𝕟𝕘𝕤. I actually love this like so much. It's just like a cheese like spread, but like obviously this is always on the table at breakfast. I've never had this brand. Once again, this is always on the table at breakfast. Like when I go visit my family in Brazil, like ℍ𝕖𝕣𝕤𝕟 gonna be there, and like you can eat it on your bread, or I don't know. People put it in like certain foods like coxinhas and stuff like that. And yes, I love me some ℍ𝕖𝕣𝕤. So yes, I almost didn't get it, but it was like a childhood nostalgia moment. And it's very, I feel like ℍ𝕖𝕣𝕤 is very Brazilian. Like they definitely don't, I don't think that they eat that in Venezuela, but we're gonna have like a crossover event here because it's going on my arepas if I make them right. So yeah, like a lot of gum. I got like this Brazilian gum that's so funny. Wait, I'll show it to you. It's like this gum where like when you open it, they have these, I don't know, when you open it, it's like it gives you a random monkey, and the monkey has like all these different symbols. Like one of them was like love and stuff. I'm really into the fortune telling and stuff, so I was like asking it questions. I was like looking for signs. I know this sounds insane. I was like, what would my future self tell me right now? And then I was like interpreting it based off what I ate in the bubble gum. It was just for fun. Like I was just like, I don't know, trying to make use of the little paper cards. But yeah. So that's been my haul. Yes, we're going to basically be making arepas, and my first attempt ever. Okay, so here we go. My first try at making arepas. I basically just put the flour into the bowl. As you can see, I added my water. The next part I messed up a bit. I actually put way too much milk. And yeah, it got really watery, so I had to sort of drain it out. But it still turned out okay at the end. And then you can see I just mixed in a little bit of oil and mixed everything together. I was really worried because I didn't know what it was supposed to look like the dough, but I thought it looked like pretty okay. And then I just let it sit for 6 minutes so that everything could soak in, and I went off to watch my movie for a minute. Marilyn Monroe is like one of my special interests. I mean, she was like a hyperfixation at one point. I feel like I was so obsessed with her for a minute, and just everything about her. And because it started because I was watching a movie about her. Like I watched a documentary about her. I was like, she's so much more than people think. And yeah, I don't know. She went through so much. First of all, like she's such a complicated person, and I feel like she just spoke to me, and I related to a lot of elements of her life, the way she navigated the world. And also, first of all, people don't know that she was like a huge activist, and she really would spoke out about things that a lot of people weren't speaking out about in the past. She was a massive supporter of Ella Fitzgerald, and she basically, first of all, she promised a certain club that if they had Ella Fitzgerald like sing, that she would be front row of the show like every single night. And then she found out that they were expecting her to go in through a side door because she was black, but she literally refused to enter until they let both of them go in through the same door. So I thought that was so iconic of her, of the time. And she had a lot of really, I mean, she was actually really out, like not out there, but she was really outspoken with her political beliefs, and I find that really cool. I feel like she was such a smart person, and she played like a ditzy character because I think that was what helped her career to pick up at the time, right? And that was what people expected of women. I feel like she played that up and played into it, but she was incredibly intelligent, incredibly complicated. Poor her, she dealt with so much sexual trauma in her life. I don't even want to say some of the stuff because it's so awful, but yeah, she really dealt with a lot. And yeah, I don't know, I'd never heard her story before until I watched the documentary. I'll like link the name, or I'll put the name of it below, but I think it's worth learning more about her. She was such an intelligent woman, and I think that we don't often go beyond like the sex symbol facade that she had. And also she was like a manifestation queen, honestly. I always remember this part where she says, basically she said that when she would walk down the street, people like she walked down the street with a journalist one time, and nobody really was like seeing her, recognizing her. And then she was like, watch this, and she basically was like gonna turn on the Marilyn Monroe effect, and she like changed like the way she was holding herself. All of a sudden everyone was like looking at her and like recognizing her. Actually, when she was younger, she had a different name, Norma Jean, and she was very sort of plain, kind of. And apparently she would imagine herself every night, like she would imagine herself basically being this like really glamorous character, and like, you know, having all these nice clothes and things. And over time she really became that. And so yeah, I don't know, I love her. She's such an icon, and she just stands for so much. And I feel like people just don't really hear enough of her story in that element. Like, people don't know that that's who she was, I think, a lot of people. So yeah, she's one of my hyper fixations from time to time. I just get really into her and like the music, and like, yeah. So by the time I finished this random rant about Marilyn Monroe, the dough was pretty much done, and I started to try to fry them up, and they were pretty okay.
Bye bye, baby. Remember, you're my baby.
My first one was perfect and just doing like really thriving, doing a great job. Then my second one came in. As you can see, she did not do as good and was kind of a mess. But yeah, but look at that. That looks like an arepa, doesn't it? Like, I feel like it looks pretty good. That one, let's ignore her. Let's pretend she doesn't exist. I was pretty proud of these, I'm not gonna lie.
My girlfriend's too shy to ask, but could she please have your seat?
But of course.
She gets sick if she rides backwards.
Next, I got started on making a little carrot salad because I've been waiting to use these leftover carrots that have just been in the fridge. And yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I just took the carrots, grated them all into the Tupperware. I would usually go for lime or lemon, but I didn't have either of those because I wasn't planning. So yeah, I used apple cider vinegar, some olive oil, and then just the seasoning I got at the Brazilian market. Okay, here comes our taste test. So we have our arepas, which I think turned out pretty good. They're a little thin, but yeah, I feel like for my first time, they're not that bad. So we're gonna eat them with ℍ𝕖𝕤𝕤 and maybe some butter. I'm just gonna do like some taste tests and see what I think. And then on the side we have a little carrot salad. I re-microwaved them, so they're actually really, really hot right now, which is, I think, contributing to the effect. I noticed that after they cooled, they actually held up better. Like, they were really soft at first, and then obviously, I mean, that makes sense, but when they cooled down, they were just really like they were more like real arepas and stuff. Okay, very messy, but let's try. Yeah, they're really good. I need more fillings, though. I need, like, usually people put, like, a lot of different things in them. They have restaurants here that sell arepas with, like, full of, you know, fillings and stuff, like beans, cheese, everything. But I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I can eat some with, like, beans. If we're rating the foods, this ℍ𝕖𝕤𝕤 is not as good as the one that I would usually get. I'm gonna see, like, what is the brand. I'm gonna edit the picture up here, but yeah, I think that's, like, it has more flavor. I don't think this, maybe the arepas are just overwhelming it, but I don't think this one has quite as much flavor. One of my other favorite Brazilian foods, and I think most Latin American cultures have a version of this, like, this is pretty universal, but it's that white farmer's cheese that's, like, really, really crumbly. And when I would go visit my grandma in Brazil, there would be someone who actually, like, came and delivered it, like, to her door. It's like that really, really crumbly farmer's cheese. It's so good. And every time we would go, my mom ate so much of that. And don't tell TSA, but she would, like, pack the cheese. Like, she would pack some in her suitcase. I think she would, like, wrap it up, and then she'd come home, like, because she would obviously visit her family more, like, because she needed to go for this or that. And she would come home and be, like, bring out the cheese, which is insane, but kind of funny. Watching my little Marilyn Monroe movie was getting me in such a, like, she makes me want to, like, be in, like, this really playful energy. We're both Leo rising, and we share one placement, which is one of my favorite placements on my chart, solely because I share with Marilyn Monroe, but we have our Venus conjunct our rising, which just gives you, like, that, like, I guess, like, a charming, playful, and, like good-natured energy. And yeah, so I was watching, it was Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and yeah, I was just like, you know what, I was like, it was actually rubbing off on me contagiously. I was like, I want to get into a more, like, playful, fun energy. This next period of life, I feel like I've been in such a serious energy the last few years because I've been really working on something so serious and really anchoring down in, like, my career and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I feel like I haven't been in, like, a very playful energy. Making YouTube videos has been kind of my playful energy. Like, it's been kind of fun and just, like, yeah, I feel like this is just playful for me, but I really do, I was like, I need to be more lighthearted. I don't know, she was really, like, I feel like her aura was, like, inspiring me. I feel like I've reinvented myself many times over the course of my life, and just there's been many different versions of me, and I feel like recently I've reinvented myself into somebody really hardworking and really committed and really good at what they do and etc. That's been sort of what I've been visualizing myself as, working on in myself, and I feel like I have, like, another reinvention within me. Like, I feel like I could do it again. Keep all this, I like this, but I feel like I could do it again and, like, have another version of me sort of appear, right? I don't know. I need to start doing what Marilyn Monroe does and, like, visualizing at night. I mean, I already do that, but I feel like I've been visualizing things I want to do, like milestones, achievements. I've been visualizing, like, I don't know, been working on a project. I've been visualizing finishing the project, but I feel like I've really been feeling recently like I've just been leaning towards just a more playful energy and just imagining myself in that energy a little bit more. I've been watching, is anybody else watching The Summer I Turned Pretty? I've been watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. First of all, Teen Conrad, literally all the way. I, like, that's my husband. But, yeah, Jeremiah's really been pissing me off this season. If you've watched it, like, you know, he's just, okay, we're gonna go on a mini rant about it. He's been a mess. He's just been, frankly, a mess this whole entire season. Belly has been a mess. Belly has been disappointing me left and right, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? She's just been really pissing me off. But anyways, but the point of that was that I was watching that, I was like, I used to imagine myself in such Wattpad, like, scenarios when I was, like, younger. I read a lot of Wattpad and, like, stuff like that, and I was really into, like, fan fiction. I feel like I just dropped that at some point. Like, I used to really, like, imagine myself at night in all these Wattpad scenarios when I was, like, you know, a teenager and stuff like that. And I was like, what happened to that? And I feel like I went through, like, one Wattpad era. Like, I had, like, one Wattpad adjacent era, like, right out, like, you know, right as I got to, like, a little bit into college. I feel like I had, like, Wattpad adjacent situations. And then I dropped it all. I was like, I feel like I just, like, I lost my streak. And I was like, I feel like I haven't been in, like, my Wattpad era at all. I was like, I think that's because I'm not imagining myself in the Wattpad scenarios anymore. I'm imagining myself being, like, a career girl, you know, at night. And I'm like, yes, I want to, like, win, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. It's like, I need to start imagining myself in, like, my Belly era. You know, where's my love triangle? Where is it? I need, like, where's the messiness? Where's the drama? Where's the tea? There's none. I imagine myself peaceful, and I imagine myself, like mentally stable. Okay, stability, like, cool, but where's my Belly era, you know? So, like, I need to get in that energy more, because I'm like, I'm bored. Like, I'm not bored, like, I feel like I'm really happy with the things that I'm doing. Like, I'm happy with, like, my work, but I'm like, this needs to get messier, and this needs to get messier quick, because I'm like, I need the messiness. Not messiness, I'm not going to be doing anything messy, but I want to be seeing other people. Like, I want belly level messiness, but not season 3. I want, like, season, like, 1 and 2. You get me? Like, I need, like, season 1 messiness. That's what I need to start visualizing, and I need to start visualizing myself, like, hot girl, like having fun, because I'm like, I'm doing great at my job, but like, where's the messiness? Where's the tea? Circling back for just 1 second, but Jeremiah is giving bisexuals a bad name. I'm looking at him and I'm like, I'm disappointed in you and you need to do better. He is like, oh my god, bro. He's just messy right now. And yes, I've been really, like, I can't even describe how annoyed I've been with Jeremiah. Okay, last season, okay? And then this season as, like, mostly. Like, just leave. Like, get out of the picture, like, completely, and, like, go do something else. I'm sorry, but Jeremiah's, like, really been irking me.
But I prefer a man who lives and gives expensive jewels. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
After putting everything away, I just took a little bath, and I had bought these little, like, bath bomby things that just dissolve and they make the bath smell really good. So I used one of those, and the water smelled like, I don't know, strawberries or something. It was really nice. Okay, I've become such a bad workaholic. I'm so bad. I can't take one night off, but it's the challenge tonight. I started to get really nervous, and I was like, just read one article. It's like a little voice in my head. And do I do it? We have two options here. We have read an article, and then we have a like short book that I've been wanting to read for quite a while. I got this like probably 2 years ago now. It's The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. But then we have a research article. Okay, but the point of tonight was supposed to be to do like, okay, we're just gonna like, maybe we can have the iPad next to me. I'm getting like a really bad like addictive itch. I think like, no, we can't. That's not what tonight is for. Tonight is for me. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have the iPad next to me. It's like a nicotine patch. I'll just have it next to me, okay? And then I'm gonna read, and then we're gonna meditate, so that I can like, I'll do a meditation of me visualizing me finishing my work, so then it's like I got the satisfaction. You get me? So here we go. I'm about to be educated. I'm gonna make her politically educated too. You have to read it. She's gonna read it like, but she's decided she doesn't want to be woke. Maybe she's like a Republican or something. I don't know. You never know with cats. You can't ask them. So who's to say? Maybe she's like extremely right wing. She's like fascist or something. I wouldn't know. Let's play some music and make it like a vibe. As someone who loves poetry myself, I really enjoy reading like texts about politics in this particular context, or like I feel like it's so poetic, like actually like deep, spiritual, and I don't know, like just the way that people speak, I feel like it's so, I don't know, I think like you can really hear when somebody's really like dreaming up a vision, or like really inspired, like has like a vision for the world. And it, like, I feel like particularly it might just be, I've been reading this year, or like the last few years, a lot of work from like Black women who have like been really influential in terms of race, politics, feminism. Audre Lorde. I've been reading Your Activism, which has a lot of different people in it, and yeah, I think I've really been inspired and just struck by how much of the way that, particularly like I guess Black women speak about their own liberation. Like there's something so like, I don't know, poetic to it, or it just feels like really creative. Like like not just creative, like oh that's creative, but like there's like a like it's like this birthing of something like really beautiful. And yeah, so I feel like even just from like an artistic standpoint, it I love to read it. And yeah, you can just I feel like you can just tell that you're like it's so passionate, like you know, it's just so passionate and beautiful. I think the way that this particular branch of writers speak, and like this lineage of political activists, I think speak is so just beautiful to read. I think even just not from a political perspective, but just from an artistic perspective. I really admire it. I really need to find like I want to read more from Latino women. Like I haven't really read like I think enough of yeah, I don't know. I really haven't seen that prominently, I guess. And honestly, even from white women, I think I need to learn, expand. I got books from like I've got some books recently from like some older prominent like feminists who really mainstream like European feminists. And I want to read. I'm saying that because I just like I don't know. I think there's like there's this really specific branch that I've just been reading recently, just because I think it's like I don't know a starting point, or I'm interested. That has been a lot of like black feminists, and I think they have a really like beautiful style of writing that I really enjoy, and it feels really beautiful. And yeah, like there's just like, this whole body of work. But I want to expand. Like I feel like I haven't heard like I feel like for example names like Audre Lorde are really big. I think in social justice they're very like I don't know. I think a lot of people have heard of them, and I think I just haven't heard as many like Latino women. Like I haven't read enough. Like I think it's just not as mainstream, not as prominent. I think particularly right now, I've been really feeling a lot of grief for like the Hispanic community, the Latino community, because I know Brazilians in the U.S. are, I'm sure plenty of them are having the same issue, but yeah, I feel like I've been feeling a lot of grief and just feeling like, yeah, I think there's just need for that. I feel like we don't, like, where are the names? Like, where are the people writing things like this? There's probably a bunch and I just haven't heard of them. And I don't know if that might just be the classes that I took in college or whatever, the people I've come across, but I feel like there's like a voice missing. I don't know, like, speaking honestly, I don't think that I'm the person to fill that voice, because I think as much as, I mean, even though I'm like Latina, I think I haven't even had the same depth of experience within like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I think like I would love to read more from Latino women about their own liberation. Honestly though, Brazilians are on it. I've talked about this a few times, like in some videos, but last year I read for the first time Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire, and he was a Brazilian author who wrote about basically how to disseminate knowledge to working class people so that they can like come to understand their own oppression. And one of his big ideas was that the oppressed have to be the ones to free themselves, that it can't be the oppressors to do it for them. And that's been like that really, I don't know, he taught me like a lot. I think that book, I don't know how I made it through 4 years as a Portuguese department student and never read that full book. I don't know how I did that. I managed that, but yeah, I did read it like a year after I graduated, and it's amazing. I mean, I feel like there's such an interesting history of like just resistance and resistance of fascism and etc in Brazil, and Brazilian politics. I mean, like it's so incredibly interesting as well. But I was actually really proud today because I saw the New York Times wrote an article about how it says no one is defying Trump like Brazil's president. So basically, our current president, Lula, what's happening is that apparently Trump is trying to threaten Brazil with like 50% tariffs. And he was just like, I'm not going to take orders from you. I don't care. So Trump was infringing on Brazil's sovereignty, which is true. The U.S. has constantly tried to infringe upon Brazil's sovereignty and treat Brazil like it's like a, I don't know, like it's a factory or something for it. And he says, at no point will Brazil negotiate as if it were a small country up against a big country. And I just felt really proud of Lula for that. Yeah, really, really proud. And just cool to have a president you can respect. I really respect him and his politics as well. So, I mean, Brazilian politics is messy, but I do highly respect Lula for the way that he, I feel like he really cares about Brazil, and he like will speak for Brazil, you know. And yeah, I don't know, but I need to read more Brazilian, like, you know, academic texts. I think that yeah, sometimes academia is so US and Europe focused, and there's so many cool authors and cool thinkers from other countries. I think Latin American authors are just amazing, and yeah, the politics of Latin America is so messy and complicated and so full of like interesting conversations about, I don't know, sovereignty, whatever. But yeah, I need to go back through and like read more Latin American authors. I feel like I don't know. I've just been on a quest. I keep having to remind myself, like, I think I always get down on myself, like I haven't read enough people, and I'm like, you know, I don't know like the entire history of everything in the world, and I'm like, I literally am only 23. Like I'll be reading my whole life. Like, you know, I have time to understand things. I think particularly it's interesting. Like, I think in like the social justice realm, there's such an emphasis, and I think this is sometimes like to a detriment, but I think there's such an emphasis on knowing all the right authors and having read all the right people, and etc., 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 so you can like really talk theory with people. And I don't know, I think so far a lot of my journey has been really through like lived experience and just thinking about my own lived experience, you know. And I feel like I haven't delved into the theory as much. Even if you're left, there's like, I didn't even read like Marx at all. I haven't yet. And I feel like if you're discussing any kind of leftist idea, you have to know Marx, and like at least to be able to discuss and all this stuff. I haven't. I was supposed to read it for class, and I definitely didn't. Like, I read what I needed to read to pass my class, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I haven't gotten into the theory, but I feel like sometimes I think it's to the detriment of the left from time to time, that it's like there's such an obsession with like knowing all, like every political theory so that you can have these like crazy discussions. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I've seen that a lot from like men on the left, where like they're really theory centric, you know what I mean? They're like, they want you, they're like, but have you read this? Like, you know, all this stuff. Or like they start like throwing names in that like because they want to like have that little advantage over you, where it's like, I've read more than you. It's like, okay. It's not a fight, like, you know what I mean? But I think there's like almost this like kind of embarrassing competitiveness to the left, where it's like, you know what I mean, where it's like you have to have like read all the books, and it's so dumb, and I think it's so alienating sometimes, where it's like I find the reading enjoyable, taking it slow, like on my own time, you know, like I'm reading this because like I like it, and this is just like me, and I just want, I'm like a dreamer, a thinker, whatever. I like to read, you know, like these kinds of works and these kinds of texts, and it really does inform. I mean, it helps me, like it informs me, and it is really, I find it genuinely like really liberating to read stuff like this and to really expand my mind in that sense. But yeah, I do think like it should be accessible, and I think that you kind of lose people along the way when you really make it this thing of like you need to have like, I don't know, a PhD in social justiceology to like you know what I mean? I feel like so much of my experience of like why I am lean more like strongly more to the left is just because of my own experience in my life. I haven't even delved into the text as much as I could, I think as much as a lot of other people have, but just because like I saw it like firsthand, like I saw like I had like my own experiences that made me think like, hey, this is important. I think kindness is important, liberating each other is important, like, you know what I mean? I think that that's like been a lot of like my path. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that sometimes it can be really isolating. I think that people feel like, even me who was like well read, college degree, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel sometimes like, oh my God, I need to read like a library's worth of like text to understand how to like have the appropriate this and appropriate conversations and appropriate opinions. And it's like, it's so dumb. Like, it's not, it shouldn't be that way. It's not like some weird competition. Like, it should be, I think it's enjoyable to read these texts. And like, I know, well, I've been reading pleasure activism, so I think that's like me coming at it from that, where it's like, it does it have to be like, does it have to be me hating my life? And like, you know what I mean? Like, it is enjoyable to read these texts. Like, it's not like, I'm not sitting here being like, I hate the world. I'm being like inspired, and I'm like empowered. I'm like, oh my God, like the world can be big and beautiful and all this stuff. And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it's like this like big competition of like, you have to read everything so you can be the best activist in the world. I'm like, I'm not the best activist in the world, I guess. Then I haven't read like, I've read a fraction of what I should. I follow just my whims like completely when it comes to my reading. Like, I'll just be like, well, that sounds like, I like that, I'm gonna read that. Like, I'll just be following my whims, and I feel like it's fine, but I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, even me who literally is like, cares so much, I would say like, probably compared to the general population, I'm well read. I don't even read as much as I think I should, but I would say probably a member of the general population would consider me well read, and I don't even feel like I'm reading enough to be keeping up with the standard that people are somehow setting. But I don't even think like you can. I think, to be honest, sometimes if you got it, you got it. Like, the texts are good and they help you, but it's like, I don't know. Sometimes with some people, it's like, maybe you need to stop reading the text and you need to sit with your feelings. You know what I mean? Where it's, I think particularly with men, I think that it can get really like intellectualizing it all. It's always a man to ask you if you've read Marx. I don't know. But anyways, but I think they like, it gets really into like almost the activity of intellectualizing things, where it's like you need to like feel. That's why I really love reading work from like women. I love reading the social like the ideas of social justice that women have. It's so like special to me, and yeah, I just feel like it meets me like where my soul is, you know. So yeah, let me get back to my reading. I've really been trying to find my voice as an activist recently, and I think just, I don't know, I've been trying to figure out my own positionality. I suppose it can get a bit complicated. I don't know, like, I think sometimes I'm in like a weird spot just in terms of my own background, my own, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like, I think it's been like I feel like I've been on like a quest to even hunt down my own positionality, essentially. Um, I think that I've really been thinking a lot recently about, I mean, as you can see from my YouTube, about whiteness, about how, um, I think it's not, I think so many people come at the conversation from, you know, for as white people, from the point of view of like, I am anti-racist because I want to see, you know, I think racism is wrong, and it is. But I think that also, like, I think that it will go even deeper, like, thinking about the fact that it also hurts us. And I know that's, like, it's strange because usually you'd want it to be, like, more selfless, right? Like, it's for another person. And it is too, but I think that also, like, I think that people have more of a stake in it if you can see it that way. Like, it is also, like, affecting you, and it's also stopping you from having like the fullest sense of yourself. You know what I mean? It's not just, oh, I'm benefiting and other people are hurt by it, and I want to help other people who are hurt, but also like, that is true that other people are more hurt, you know, but also that you stop yourself from being your fullest self because of that structure. And yeah, I think that has been like a really important concept to me, because because of, that's my positionality at work there, because I have been like, you know, it's been a bit of a complicated like form of whiteness that I'm housed in, I think, of this like ethnically ambiguous white. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I think I've just been also. I think it's just been a task of like where do I see myself making like an actual push, or where can I contribute something like meaningful to the conversation has been like a really I think that's just been my line of thinking, and like how do I use my positionality in the best possible way. Also, I am like Latina as well, but I don't know yet how to navigate that as like a potential for usefulness. And I don't know, I think I'm just like in a weird spot, so it's just been like a task for me. And along the whiteness line, I think the reason that it's so important for people to realize that is that I think so many people spend a lot of time trying to just be less racist or create less racism, you know? But I think it's about like completely dismantling it on the inside too, you know what I mean? And being like, there's like now zero reason for me to have this. I think so often we relate to it as like, oh, I'm benefiting and somebody else is getting hurt. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that I think that's like the value of being like, oh, no, it's hurting me too. So like it's so deep that I'm gonna also, I have stake in like letting it go. I think that's just been like my thinking recently, and like that's been really important to me. And like I think that it also really in a lot of ways I think it also has diminished my ability to have like a strong relationship to my own culture. You know, like also feeling like there's so many people nowadays where like, you know, that whole are you white passing, are you white, are you this, and so many people nowadays are being told that they're white passing, and it's like they're like white Muslims or like white I don't know, like stuff like that. And that's not the case for me. Like I don't lump myself in that. I just see that other people are dealing with that, and like there are people who are like, are you insane calling me white passing? And I'm literally like, you can tell that I'm like black or mixed or whatever. And I think that it's like, yeah, I just think that the structure of whiteness like encourages us to keep, I mean, for reasons like keep like finding, like redefining it and like re-understanding like the limitations of it. But it's like it has to go, like, you know what I mean? It has to be gone. Like it can't, like if you're constantly, I think it doesn't even help to keep drawing the boundaries of it. It's like, I mean, it's necessary, I think, within the context of helping, guiding each other there and guiding each other to that end zone. But I think that it's like, it has to go all of the way. And I think that the way that you make it go all of the way is by giving people like the deepest of motivations and the deepest of encouragement to like let it go. And like, you know what I mean? Like release that thing. Like it's not useful. And I think that's a hard task because that it's like you don't want to just be like, it's, you know, it's not real, or like I'm colorblind, it's gone. But I think it's just like it's gonna be like an extended process. But I think like that is the process, you know what I mean? Like that's been like my line of thinking, is just like, now I think people have to go all the way, where it's like, it's not like, where I think where if you feel like you're benefiting from it, like you want to help people, but I think subconsciously you still are going to hold on to it to a certain degree, or like have an attachment to it as an identity. But I think if people see that there's not, it's like all the way to the point where you are being impacted by it too, even though you are an oppressor within that context, like you still too like are hurt by it. And you also see that with men and women too. Men aren't going to listen to me, so I'm not going to, I don't know, but it's like, you know what I mean? I think that men should start to tell this to other men as well, and men should have that process too, where it's like, so many of the problems that men have, it's like, it is because of the patriarchy. So it's not just, oh, yeah, women are being hurt by the patriarchy, but men are deeply being impacted by the patriarchy too. So like oppressive systems don't just hurt the oppressed, but also the oppressor is like deeply impacted by the system too. You know what I mean? Like white people are also deeply impacted by white supremacy in a different way, and like a sort of loss of identity and a loss of all the things I've mentioned in other videos. But then I think that also, for example, men are deeply impacted by the patriarchy because they can't be their fullest selves, because they are constantly being encouraged to take on like the character of the oppressor, and in that like they have to like hide elements of themselves and like be like this oppressor character, you know what I mean? They can't be their full self. So I think that oppression goes like it's not because those people are oppressed, but because that's like any system where you have a power over another person. I think that it encourages you to take on like an identity that isn't like that is going to be like inherently harmful, because you have to take on like a role in a dynamic. And I think like any role that you take in a dynamic is a character, and if you are a character, then like you can't be like your full self. So I don't know, that's my thinking. But yeah, I've just been thinking. Okay, I didn't know this was actually a collection of essays. It wasn't just one. So I finished Poetry is Not a Luxury, which is really good. That was what was inspiring this whole chat that you just heard. And then the second one was Uses of the Erotic, which I didn't agree. I'm just gonna skip over because I already read that in Pleasure Activism. So, yeah, next one that I will read, probably tomorrow night, is gonna be The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House, which was what I thought I was gonna be reading, but I suppose not. So, yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna end my night there. It's just been like a one single night of not working and actually like giving myself a little bit of a mental break, like exploring my culture, exploring another person's culture that's in my community in a sense. We watched Marilyn Monroe. I don't know, we did a few things, but it's not been a hectic night as you can tell. But anyways, yeah, I guess I'm gonna go to bed.